And welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Forgive me if if you're watching the video, my head is a little bit off frame. If I touch the GoPro, it's so finicky. The HDMI part is so finicky, it'll just stop. I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see if I can do this. I'm not going to do it. I was going to roll over to it. I'll just lean down and sit like this the entire time. Welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. This is a premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. So website, go there. It's episode 121, Saturday morning. Well, Saturday afternoon, excuse me. I took a long nap. Couldn't sleep past couple of nights. And this here, the C Plus Comedy office. I don't sleep in the office. I sleep in the other bedroom across the way. But yeah, here we are. Oh, man. I was going to start a timer, but I don't need to do that. I just had a run, took a nap. I forced myself to take a nap. And here we are. Fell asleep watching, I didn't watch anything. I fell asleep and turned on Pokemon Sun and Moon on Netflix. And just listened to 3 episodes as I tried to snooze. The issue is, I can hear the women that live above me. And they put down their full weight. They're short. I've seen them. They're short, but I don't want to say anything else. I don't want to say anything else because I'll get in trouble. But they put their full force of foot when they walk. And Thursday night, I don't know if it's because I had a piece of dark chocolate candy at like 9 p.m. right before I went to bed, like right before I watched half of a documentary, and then I went to bed. It was a murder documentary. It was Who Killed Garrett Morris. I think that's what it's called. Little boy was murdered, maybe by the ex-boyfriend who's black in a small white town, maybe by a cop ex-boyfriend of the mom who was jealous of the mom having a black ex-boyfriend. Who knows? Maybe it was one of the other kids. I'm looking now at there's a brick wall behind the monitor. I've mentioned this before in the last episode. Every window in this apartment has a brick wall. Every brick wall has a window. Whatever. There's a piece of brick. I guess it's coming out. I don't even know it's brick. That might be a piece of wood. It just fits perfectly in this tiny little brick slot that's like that big. And I don't know. I did see a gnat in this apartment flying around. Who knows? Any Hoosers, I was awake Thursday night, all night long. At 3 a.m., I heard them stomping around. I know, because at 3 a.m., I was awake. And I usually wake up at 4:30 now. I just hear them stomping around there. And then they were singing, like, music from, like, 10 to, like, 11. From 9 to 11, never forget. And it was so loud. Excuse me, I just burped on mic. Never hear that. Hey, let's get on with this episode of the Constitutionals. What I'm saying is I don't ever want to hear them again. Oh, hold on. I got to do this. The PR people. I could lie and say he sent this to me himself, but it was his PR people. PR people behind Joel McHale emailed me. You can see this very tiny amount of information I got. Just crapping on them. Also, she never responded to if this was okay, so I'm going to do it. They're not paying me or anything. I'm just doing it because this seemed like a real podcast. Joel McHale has a first ever full-length comedy special coming out. It's called Live from Pyongyang. And it's not really filmed there, obviously, guys. Or gals, whatever. It's out now on Comedy Dynamics networks via iTunes, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Xbox, Vudu, I can only assume, wherever you probably get your video comedy stuffs. That link is for me. Hopefully you can't see it on camera. All right, great. This is coming from. This is a review, I believe. I don't know. It's significant that, oh no, this is something from Apple Rocks. I'm not going to click on that link. Anyway, check it out. Live from Pyongyang. Joel McHale's first ever special. You got him doing some smarmy comedy bits. There you go. She never responded to me with any more information. She never said yes. She never said no. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. They're not paying me, obviously. I have not seen it. Maybe I'll click on the screener and look at it. I will. I'll do so. I like Joel McHale's a funny guy. Don't like it when he's hosting a show. When he's acting, great. Let's move on. Just burn down that bridge. This week I watched the very first episode of Black Lady Sketch Show over there on the Home Box Office Network, created by Robin Thede and starring her, Ashley Nicole Black. Black Lady Sketch Show. And it's a Black Lady Sketch Show, not the Black Lady Sketch Show, she said in an interview this week with Larry Wilmore. I knew what I in my head. I was like, it's Fillmore. No, it's Wilmore, Chad. Robin Thede started it, created it. Ashley Nicole Black is in it. Gabrielle Dennis is also in it. And Quinta Brunson is also in it. And then Issa Rae is a producer, and I believe she's in it as well. There is a theme song There's a song called Hot Girl from Megan Thee Stallion, and that is the theme song. Megan Thee Stallion is a new she's a hip hop artist around my age. She's very good because she's not like Nicki. She's not like Cardi. It's kind of, she's her own thing. She's not like Lil' Kim. She's not like Ciara or anybody else. I don't know why I named Ciara. That's not a black woman in music. Megan Thee Stallion is great. Imagine if you take any one of these random trap artists who think that they're good, actually make them good, and then make them a woman. It's a twofold operation here. It's only had 2 episodes out, and I think they're only doing 6 episodes for the first season. But it's a great, wonderful show. It's going to have all these guest stars that I'm not going to say anything about. But you should know that there's going to be a bunch of A-list celebrity guest stars. Not Beyonce. Don't think Beyonce. You may know Robin Thede from her show on BET called The Rundown, which if it wasn't on BET, I would have watched it. It did get canceled. And then she was also a contributor / head writer of Larry Wilmore's show on The Nightly Show before that got canceled, sadly. A Black Lady Sketch Show. And it's also written by a bunch of black women, like Amber Ruffin, who writes for Late Night with Seth Meyers. And, of course, we have the stars writing, Ashley Nicole Black and them. Then Lauren Ashley Smith, Brittany Nichols. And it's great. Gabrielle Dennis, Holly Walker. What's great is that I knew a lot of these names, but I didn't know the director nor the executive producer. Her name is Dime Davis. Did not know who that was. But it's a funny show. Everything, it looks cinematic. Everything is nice and crisp, and it's surreal sketch comedy that also carries the weight of there's a serialized story. The world has ended. And I guess I'll just say that because, you see it anyway. The world has ended, or you could guess it by the first 2 minutes. The world has ended, and the 4 main stars, including Robin Thede and Ashley Nicole Black, are just passing time in their house, in this house in LA, I believe, or New York. I might be LA because it takes place. All the sketches take place in LA. Very funny show. Check it out. Or watch the sketches on YouTube. Do that as well because it's a funny show. Because the sketches mean nothing in terms of the story. Then you go, my legs look great. My run was terrible. I stopped so many times. It was hot. I got started like 9:30. It was very hot. There were a lot more people. I live in Atlanta, and I was running on the belt line in Atlanta, and there's a crap ton of people today on the belt line this morning, and that's what I had to deal with. Okay, moving on. Let's go to 5. Okay. Oh yeah, E! News has a bunch of layoffs that happened this week. Something I never usually report, but whatever. I report layoffs and stuff, but whatever. This comes from Variety, written by Elaine Lowe and Audrey Cleo Yap. E! News lays off more than 20 staffers amid New York move. I didn't even know that they were moving. In tandem with the announcement of E's expanded programming slate and decision to transform its nightly E-News show in Los Angeles to a morning show based in New York, the entertainment news outlet is laying off around 20 to 25 staff who worked on the nightly broadcast in Los Angeles. I wonder why they would move to, and I'm sure it explains in the article, but I just want to inject my conjecture. I wonder why they would want, I understand condensing it and moving all of operations to New York, because that's what Turner did for its stuff and moved to Atlanta. But I wonder what moving from night to day, were they having a lot of night to morning? Were they having a lot of issues with fending off against, what is that show that Nancy O'Donnell just left? Not Nancy O'Donnell. She's the CBS news anchor. Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood. Were they losing a lot of viewers to them? Would this save them money? Impacted employees were offered separation packages, so the company hopes to place those laid off in new available positions. Yeah, I hope that happens too. No one should lose their job in television like this, especially if it's a solid job like E-News. Working for a news outlet like E-News or Access Hollywood or Entertainment Tonight, and maybe even TMZ, and this is only what I can guess, is that it's a solid position, like a regular news outlet, like a local news or an NBC News nightly news or a CBS evening news or an ABC News Tonight. It's one of those. It has to be one of those, because it can't be like working on like late night, like Conan or a late show with Stephen Colbert. You don't get like a couple of weeks, like you're not a writer and then get a couple of weeks packaged and have like 12 weeks or 16 weeks or something like that, and then they either don't need you and ship you off, or you leave for a little bit and then you come back. Like I don't know. I believe it's a regular job. So hopefully that these people can be found in different positions within the company. Let's see. E is offering affected employees the opportunity to apply for positions. Oh, wow. The opportunity associated with the new shows launching in 2020 in both Los Angeles and New York. But I thought, so they're just moving that show to New York. Whatever. Additionally, E! News and Access Hollywood are slated to share a studio space and production services, though both programs will remain separate shows with different sets, editorial teams, and branding, according to the separate source familiar with the situation. The production change will take the effect this fall, and the staff of E! News and Access Hollywood were informed of the shift a month or so ago. The move follows the morning's news on Nightly Pop will expand to 4 nights a week, while Daily Pop will remain. What is it? What are these shows? Okay, I can only assume they're pop culture shows. E-News, I guess, has been a stable in the entertainment news category. It sucks when people in the industry lose their positions because there's money to be had elsewhere. Moving on. CBS, I'm rushing through these stories so I can talk about the last one because I like the last one a lot. CBS All Access is adding children's programming, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Danger Mouse, Inspector Gadget among content. Written by Nelly Andreeva, Denise Petsky on Deadline. Those are two different people. So, with the move to streaming, we have lost, not even before that, with the rise of cable and phones and internet and all that stuff, we've really lost children's cartoon morning shows, whether it's during the week or especially on Saturday mornings. That was the best part of waking up Saturday morning, and also being alive. But waking up Saturday morning and having a bowl of cereal, watching, the Fox Box. ABC, ABC's Disney Saturday Morning, whatever that stuff was. WB Kids. I'm missing one that was on the CW for years after the WB consolidated with UPN. All this stuff. Now CBS All Access is going to. But then Netflix. We have a bunch of great children's programming. Hulu's got none, but they do have the reruns. They acquired shows. Speaking of, this is very, speaking of children's shows, I was watching Netflix and Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon decided to release the reboots or final episodes of Rocko's Modern Life and Invader Zim on Netflix. And Invader Zim's coming, I believe, in a couple of weeks. But Rocko's Modern Life came out yesterday at the time of this recording. And it's the same show. And I was watching it. I'm not as excited to see it. I liked Rocko's Modern Life a lot when I was a child. I watched it every chance I get. I remembered all of the in-jokes. I remembered Filbert's wife had a claw. I remembered her girlfriend. I remembered Heifer's grandfather. I remembered the big heads. Everybody. One of my issues with that show is, and so cartoon shows today are very weird. They're weird, but they all tell singular stories. So that's kind of, the point. But cartoons today are weird. They're strange. They're out of this world. Misadventures of Flapjack, weird but funny. Chowder, odd but funny. Loud House, weird, loud but funny. Not Gravity Falls. Yeah. Well, no. I'm talking about the weirdest of the weird. I've never seen Amphibia on Disney Channel, so maybe that's weird. I don't know. I don't want to sit up. I'm just slouching in this chair. No, that's bad for your back. That's bad for your posture in your back. But also, so is using this freaking microphone. So these shows are all so strange. And then you think back to Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network's shows of the early 2000s, the late 90s, the early 90s, even. Rocko's Modern Life, Invader Zim, those were very strange and out there, probably way ahead of their time. But the issue is, Rocko's Modern Life is just, it feels strange and odd for the sake of being strange and odd. And seeing it now, seeing this reboot now, makes it feel as if it's trying too hard. And that's just for me. That's for me to have. That's my opinion. Now I want to see. I believe it might be on Hulu. The rebooted episode is on Netflix, but I believe the rest might be on Hulu because Hey Arnold's on Hulu. Let's see, Rocko. Nope, sure is not. I don't think you can stream it, but you can buy it on Amazon for $30, the whole series. Anyway, it feels weird for the sake of weird. I think it's funny. It's whatever. Moving on. Amazon has kids shows, but they're not good. The Kung Fu Panda show is all right. CBS All Access is making the first foray into children's content. CBS's digital SVOD and live streaming service said today it's adding children's programming, including original series and more than 1,000 episodes of library programming, which means acquired shows that they probably already have. CBS. Okay. Let's see. They're ordering new seasons of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. That's the Cartoon Network show that was not good. I did not like it. It was all in 11-minute increments, and it just wasn't funny. And it was a prequel to this to the movies, but everybody knew each other already, and the main characters were teens now. I don't like that. There's a new Danger Mouse, which I believe was already on Netflix. I believe there was already a Danger Mouse on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. It's very strange that they would choose to make more Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. What do we got? What children's movies have recently made? Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? The cartoon, the cartoon movie? Yeah, it was also on Cartoon Network for a little bit. Yeah, I guess so. Danger Mouse. Yeah, there's a new Danger Mouse over there on Netflix. There it is. That's so stupid. Why would they? This is the third time Danger Mouse is going to be rebooted. It also stars people I don't know, except for Stephen Fry. That's so weird. And then Inspector Gadget. There is already a new Inspector Gadget that came out I believe on this. It's on Netflix too. Another Inspector Gadget. We're gonna get so much Danger Mouse and Inspector Gadget. These are truly cartoons for your parents, for our parents. In addition, CBS All Access will add more than 1,000 episodes of library children's programming, including the original Danger Mouse. That's going to be pulled from Netflix. Classic Inspector Gadget, The Adventures of Paddington Bear, Madeline, and Heathcliff. That's the only way I know how to say Madeline. Madeline! What children in today's age are going to be sitting down and watching episodes of Madeline? If I remember correctly, that show is extremely boring, but the art style is very memorable. It's 2D. Based on age and demographics of our subscriber base, with an average age of 44, we see a significant opportunity to invest in children's programming because those people are going to be having so much sex and making kids, making chids. All right. Finally. All I do is sit here and wait until the show gives me a title. I'm not going to finish the rest of that quote. CBS All Access signaled an expansion in younger demographics with its recent acquisition of past season streaming rights of the upcoming CW CBS TV studio shows series Nancy Drew. It's odd. It's odd. This is going to be the first television season where CW doesn't have the 2 weeks season rights to the. Netflix doesn't have 2 weeks season rights to CW. CW, owned by CBS, is like, baby, we're going to get that money wherever we can. So now Netflix is only going to have like Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, Riverdale for now, and maybe some other shows that have already signed under that contract. But then after that, I guess, who's getting Batwoman? I forgot who's getting Batwoman. I believe is going somewhere else. No, Batwoman is going to Netflix, and then there's other shows going to like to Hulu, and then obviously Nancy Drew is going to CBS All Access. CBS Studios may want to rethink its decision to sell its kids animated Star Trek series, not to go to CBS All Access, home to the new Star Trek franchise, but to Nickelodeon. However, with the pending merger of CBS and Viacom, that may turn out to be a moot point soon. I thought it was moot. And there's that. Will CBS and Viacom merger? Who knows? I've already done a story like that on News Time. Go check it out. I'm also, if you, you definitely can't see it. This is the script for the newest episode of News Time. This week's episode, or next week's episode, is going to be the anniversary, coming out on the exact anniversary, the 6th anniversary of, what year is it, 2019? Wow, yeah. It's the 6th anniversary of C Plus Comedy, the website. Now, I know the website has not been updated, blame Squarespace, but they rose their prices. But, I'm sorry, I'm scratching my eyeball. But it's going to be something that has not been done before by C Plus Comedy. I think of anniversary episodes every year, and this is the first time. And moving on, the final thing I want to talk about before I get out of here is the New York Times did a feature story profile interview series with Nicolas Cage. It's loading up right now. It's for the New York Times Magazine by David Marchese. It's called Nicolas Cage on His Legacy, His Philosophy of Acting, and His Metaphorical and Literal Search for the Holy Grail. It's a wonderful, wonderful interview. Oh, Jesus. I'm not subscribed right now. I'm very sorry. It's a wonderful, wonderful interview. And it's if you read the New York Times profiles before, I believe they had a Madonna one that came out a couple of months ago. And then there was a Hootie and a Blowfish one that came out a couple of weeks ago. Then you'll know that the profiles are usually writers, and the writers following the star for, a couple of weeks in the interview element. but I moved the light with my foot, so I'm trying to fix it out with my foot now. But this one is just a straight up. It was done over the course of 2 interviews, but it's a straight up interview. The battery's done with GoPro, so I got to speed this up. And David talks to Nick about why he's so weird, and Nick just says he's felt this way his entire life. He half expected when he was taken to the doctor as a child that the doctor was going to come open and there's going to be green blood coming out because he never felt at home. He talks about primal screaming and literally buying, like he buying a house in Rhode Island and New Orleans. He has a crypt in New Orleans, giant pyramid where he's going to be exhumed, I guess, there. I don't know. He talks about buying a house in Rhode Island and houses, and I think it's Scotland, wherever the Holy Grail is supposed to be. He's talking about that, and gosh, it's great. Talking about his uncle, Francis Coppola, changing his name to, he didn't change. He did change his name to Nick Cage, but, stuff like that. Talking about why he chooses to make all these movies that he does. He wants to make 150 movies. Right now he's at 130, I believe. He's made like 4 or 5 in the past 2 years or something like that. It's crazy. Nick Cage is definitely one of the premier stars of our time. He does a good job. I mean, it's good for him. I had to stop. That's why I paused talking, because it looked like Audition crashed on me. But oh no, there it's moving. It's moving on me. There you go. Yeah, there it goes. Oh wow, somebody just honked a real long time. That's why I paused. He talks about his style of acting, nouveau shamanic acting, and all these things. It's amazing why he had he bought a dinosaur skull, and he owned a castle in Germany and England. A castle each in Germany and England. He had to give back the dinosaur skull, and God, and he feels like he doesn't have any friends. He wants to stay at home, all that different stuff. Man, Nick Cage is a tortured soul, but he's good at what he does. I definitely urge you to read that. Read that. Read it. Just go read it. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where there's some stuff. Oh, 2 new interviews are coming out. I interviewed 2 stars of Glow, and they're great. They play, it's the blonde and the brunette who you see sometimes. They were the Bantam Biddies, and now they're Ozone and Nuke. It's Kimmy Gatewood and Rebecca Johnson, Rebecca with 2 Ks. I interviewed them separately. One was a phone, one was an email interview. And it was great all around. You'll be on the lookout for those. We talk about Glow. We talk about Kimmy's a director, and she's directed an episode of Crazy Ex Girlfriend, which is my favorite show. Rebecca is an actor and a writer, and she did a short film most recently called Consent, and it's like a gender flipped thing of what happens when a singer proposes to a male fan that they hook up, and the male fan says no, but the singer female doesn't take no as an answer, where they try to turn no into a maybe to a yes. You can only see the trailer right now. Hopefully they'll release it after the festival rounds they're doing right now. They won Just for Last Festival with that film, which is amazing. That's huge. Anyway. Okay, check out those interviews when they come up next week. Hopefully next week. Probably next week. Most likely next week. Anyway, let's see. If you want to see a video version of this show, head on over to youtube.com/C+comedy, where you can see the video, the back catalog. I believe this is the 61st episode that I've done on video. Right? Because I started with episode 60. Also, this is episode 121. Insane. So definitely check that out. And then you can also watch News Time, which is our weekly news show. like I said, the coming week's episode is going to be something about the anniversary, but last week's episode is about Ninja moving to Mixer. It came out a little bit late. This is the latest I've ever released an episode of News Time. It came out on a Thursday, but definitely check it out. It's a good episode. The cold open's great. I didn't have to write it. I just did it. It was awesome. Definitely check it out. That's it. Oh, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Simplest Comedy. Me on Instagram and Twitter at ChadBlackWhite. Tell your friends. Subscribe to the show. Tell everybody about the podcast. I know there's dozens of you out there. There's dozens of you who listen to this who don't tell nobody. You tell everybody. All right. I'm going to turn around. Okay. Bye.